Let me tell you something. Anytime you could wear a jacket like that. This ain't the campaign trail, but boy, I need Of course, good morning to First Baptist. Good morning to my fraternity brothers. And let me begin, of course, I should begin by saying to Mr. William Daines, charter member of this chapter, the state director, Mr. President, officers and members of this church. I want to begin by saying Happy New Year. But as I sat and I listened to the sermon, if you would permit me, just two things. One to the congregation, and then another to the fraternity. So I'll share this with you. You guys are one of the best property managers, mechanics, public servants in the country. Who works here. Jesse, you all know Jesse, right? Yeah, so Jesse just fixed my car the other day, and I pulled out of the Ministry of Works, and I was heading to my office on Cowpen Road. And I drove on the six-legged roundabout, and I looked up and I saw my colleague, Mikhail Bonamy, Mount Moriah picture, looking neatly handsome. And I said, let me call this boy, let me call this gentleman to see if he really knows what the Mount Moriah story is about. And I called him, and he didn't answer. I said, oh my Lord, it's true, these politicians say that. But I got to the office and I said, let me look at this, because when he called me back, I won't be able to talk to him about it. He didn't call me back, but I looked at it. It's Genesis chapter 22, verse 1 to about verse 18 or something like that. And I read it, and I read it again. And then I read it again. And I said, what is this saying to me? It didn't come to me. I saw a few constituents. I left and went home. Yesterday morning, it came back to my remembrance. This Mount Moriah story. And I read it again. And in verse 1 of chapter 22 of Genesis, it says, and the Lord spoke to Abraham. And Abraham said, here am I. He says, he doesn't say, here am I. He says, look at it. King James Version says, here I am. And here I am speaks to a physical location. God being God. He's God. He knows where you are. After Abraham goes up the rough side of this mountain contemplating the death of his son, or the sacrifice of his son. In verse, I think 11 or 12, it says, and the angel of the Lord spoke to Abraham, and Abraham said, here am I. What's the difference? One is here I am, a location. The other says, here am I. That's a surrender. Like I didn't do this thing, I didn't do this in my mind all day. Lord, I surrender. And so I say to First Baptist, you ain't gonna break no limitations. You ain't going global if you don't surrender. Surrender. I had a gentleman a few years ago sang at my father's funeral the song I Did It My Way, and everybody loved it. And my mother scolded me. She said, because that's a lie. He did it God's way. And so I hate that song now. Because it ain't about doing it your way. And I say to my fraternity, continue to dedicate yourself to such things that will enable you to be respected in life, useful to mankind and this Bahama land, following the examples of our founders. They indeed had a pioneering spirit, and you do too. Thank you for listening.